Welcome to Point to Point channel. So in my previous video, I already discussed about SpringBoot unit testing and integration testing. So now in this video, I'm going to write some unit test cases for controller and as well as repository layers. Okay, yeah. Without wasting time, let's jump into the coding part. Yeah. So in order to demonstrate, I have created one demo project. Okay, so I will just walk through the code. Okay, so here if you see, this is form.xml. Okay, so in this one, overall this is just kind of employee CRUD operations. Okay, so here if you see starter validation is there, so just to validate that DTO. Okay, starter data JPA, and yeah, this is important. So we need to add this Spring Boot starter test dependency in order to write unit test cases and integration test cases. Okay, so yeah, as I said, here you can see, so it has the JSON asset. Okay, Spring Boot test. Here you can see Mockito, JUnit. Okay, all the other transfer dependencies. Here you can see Hamcrest. Okay, everything. Okay, yeah, Spring Boot test. Okay, everything. So this dependency is important. So just we need to add that one. So after that, um, yeah, after that, here you can see. Uh, Yeah, so this is the employee controller. Here, I mean, I just have written few CRUD operations to interact with the database. Okay, so um, so here, if you see, yeah, if you see, so this like I just added at the rate valid also. So here, if you see employee DTO, okay, I do have a few fields: ID, name, age, salary, and city. So I just added one condition here. If you see at the rate max, so that means if I am trying to pass, the value of the A is more than 40, immediately it will throw some exception saying that age cannot be more than 40 or something like that. Okay, it will be kind of invalid data. Okay, so just I want to highlight this one. Okay, remaining all are general CRUD operations. Okay, so after that, if you see. Yeah, so this is just a error message. Okay, customized error message. So this is just a global exception handler in case if the record is not available in the database, I'm throwing resource not found exception. Okay, so and that too with 404 status code. Okay, so this is just a custom exception resource not found. Okay, and so this is just model. Okay, model. So just I have shown employee detail. Okay, so this is just a repository. Okay, by default, JPA repository has all CRUD operations related one. Save, find by ID, find all the methods are already available. So I have written one more additional method, that is find by city. Okay, yeah. So after that, so this is just a service class implementation. Okay, employee service MPL. Okay. Yeah, so this is just a main class in which we have at the rate Spring Boot application. Okay, so this is just a application dot properties. Here I just maintained MySQL database related properties. Okay, right. So yeah, overall, so this is the high level code walkthrough of my demo project. So now let's start writing unit test case. Okay, so here in the SAS it is Java. Okay, I'm going to create one test class. So saying that employee controller test. Okay, so this one. Okay, so as I said in my previous video. Okay, um, so we need to annotate with at the rate webmvc test. Okay, so at the rate webmvc test. So let me hide this. Yeah, so here we need to we need to say like we are interested in so and so controller, so that is employee controller. Employee controller, this one. Controller dot class. Okay, so we are just informing Spring Boot starter test framework, saying that okay, uh, so whenever it is trying to load the application context, so just scan this particular class only, this particular controller only. That's the intention of at the rate of WebMVC test. So, however, it will internally take care of auto configurations, for Spring WebMVC infrastructure. Okay, along with that, it will scan only this particular class only, right? Yeah. So it will never try to create other classes which are annotated with separate component. Okay, so that's the important one. Okay, so after that, private mock, you know, so yeah, so as I said in my previous video, so with the help of mock MVC, we can fire a request like how we used to fire from the postman. In a similar way, we can mimic that particular environment with the help of mock MVC. So mock MVC, okay, so mock MVC, yeah. So how we will get with the help of AutoWide, okay, yeah. So after that, we need to have object mapper, object mapper, yeah, this one, yeah, object mapper. Anyhow, we need to get this particular one again with the help of AutoWide, okay, yeah. So mock MVC is there, object mapper is there, yeah. We need to mock the next subsequent layer, that is service layer. For that, what we need to do, employee service. So employee service is this one, okay. So this one we need to mock with the help of mock bin. Okay, so mock bin. So here one more important point is, as I said, okay, at the rate WebMVC test, it will scan only employee controller class. Obviously, it will not scan this employee service, right? So then obviously this particular bin instance is not available in that loaded application context. So it will create the mock bin, and it will inject that mock bin into this particular field. Okay, right? So that's the thing. Okay. So now we are good to write test case. So for example, here I do public, for example, create. Okay, I will say create employee. Okay, create employee record. Okay, record. Okay, and then return 201. Okay, for example, success case. Okay, so let it return void. Okay, for example. Okay, so here how we need to write, mock MVC dot perform. Okay, so perform. So here, what we need to do. Okay, so here we need to say post call. Okay, so obviously how we will create the employee record, obviously by firing a post request, right? So post, here what you need to do, that REST API path, okay, slash v1, okay, sorry, slash v1 slash employees, okay, slash employees. Okay, so this is the path. Okay, and here we need to import you know uh, yeah, so we have already imported this post one. So now we do have some other methods. Okay, so that is dot content, sorry, dot content type. Okay, content type. Okay, content type is application slash JSON, right? Obviously, whenever we are filing a request, we used to pass that JSON payload, right, for the post call. So that is in the form of JSON. So that is content type. Okay, and after that, since we are mimic the real environment, so in real environment, obviously we will pass that JSON payload, right? So how we will pass that JSON payload here, right? We don't have any JSON. So for that, what we need to do, okay, so first create one Java object. Okay, so Java object of this one, employee DTO. Okay, employee DTO. Okay, new employee DTO. Okay, so here, I'm just passing some name Rajendra. Okay, some age, some 34. Okay, so salary some 45,000. Okay, and city, some Hyderabad. Okay, so I have created one sample employee DTO object. This one I'm going to insert this particular record into the database, for example. So now what I'm going to do, okay, this particular Java object I'm going to convert into JSON. Okay, so that how I will do with the help of object mapper. So what I will do, dot content. Okay, dot content, here object mapper dot write. So here write JSON as string. So this one, sorry, write value as string. So here if you see, here we need to pass employee DTO. Yeah, employee DTO. So um, employee DTO. So I guess this method is correct, right? JSON or right? Um, I guess this method is correct only. One second, right value string correct only. So maybe, so what it is saying, add, yeah, okay, okay, it is throwing some exception, so that's why, so we need to handle that particular exception. Okay, so yeah, we are good. Okay, so let me show you the actual, the actual employee controller for the create API. Okay, so here if you see, this is the actual employee controller. Okay, so here if you see, this is the call. Okay, so here if you see, I'm just passing employee DTO. Along with employee DTO, I'm also passing one request header parameter, that is user hyphen agent. So header parameter also I'm just passing. So then obviously we need to pass this one also, right? So that how we will pass in the sense. Okay, so here if you see, sorry, where is it? Mm, so that one, yeah. So here dot header. Okay, header. I will pass user hyphen agent, user hyphen agent. Okay, um, agent. The value as Chrome. Okay, something I'm passing. Okay. So yeah, so far we are good. So now, okay, dot and expect. Okay, we need to say, okay. So now, till now, what we have done, okay, we are just invoking so and so API, that is post API. So we are just passing the payload. So this particular payload we are converting into JSON. So this is of JSON format. Okay, content type is application slash JSON. Okay, now I'm also passing the header. So that's why I just passed this one. Now after doing everything, so obviously it will fire the request and it will get the response, JSON response, right? So so for that, so here if you see status, okay, status dot is created. Okay, so status we need to import here. Okay, so here if you see, yeah, I just imported. Okay, is created. Okay, yeah, this one. So why? Because it will create 201, right? I mean, it will return the status 201. So so far it's looking good, but yeah, yeah, so far it's looking good. um, yeah. So why it is throwing? It is throwing some exception. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we need to handle that particular exception. So that is just one. So but there is one issue here. If you see, if you go to employee controller, okay, employee controller here, internally it is invoking which one is this? Yeah. So here if you see, yeah, employee service dot create employee is there, right? So there we are passing employee DTO, right? But since we are writing the unit test case, obviously we don't want the flow to really invoke this particular create employee, right? So our intention is, so we need to inform to the testing framework saying that, okay, whenever the flow reaches here and whenever it will try to invoke this particular method, do not invoke the actual method. Then then just return the particular object whatever we provide. So that is kind of mocking the method. So that how I am going to do is see something like this. Okay, so here if you see, so what I need to do here, so here if you see, when, okay, so when, so not this one, when, uh, when, okay, so which is the mocked one? This one, right? Employee service, yeah, this is the mock object. Okay, and create employee. So this one, create employee. So here I'm passing employee DTO. Okay, so now then, okay, 1 second. So here we need to import this one. So when employee service dot create employee, we are passing this employee DTO. Now I am just informing uh, dot then return, okay, then return employee DTO. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so obviously when we file a request, definitely the flow will reach to this employee controller, and within the employee controller, it will try to invoke, it will reach here. So it will try to execute this whole stuff, right? So then as soon as it is trying to execute this particular create employee, since we applied this mocking behavior, okay, obviously it will never invoke the actual method of employee service, and in return it will return the same employee DTO. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, I think yeah, we are good. Okay, so now let me test this particular one. So of course we need to annotate with thread test, thread test. Okay, yeah, thread test. So now let me find the request. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. So we are just we're just cross verifying the status code. So if it really went well, obviously it will return the 201, right? Yeah. So it will take a while. Meanwhile, I mean, I will write other test case. Okay. So yeah, see, test case is passed. Okay, so we are good. Okay, so now I will write other test cases. So now this time I'm going to handle 400 bad request. Okay, so 400 bad requests. So now this time what I'm doing, I'm passing the age more than 40. For example, I'm passing 42. Okay, so this time what happens? Um, so this time even mocking behavior is also not required. Why? Because the flow itself, it will not reach to even the first line of the controller also. So why? Because I mean, so here if you see, we have at the rate valid, right? Here at the rate valid, right? So if it is a valid valid poso, okay, without any validation issues, then only flow will reach to the first line here. Okay, so if the flow itself is not reaching, so then there is no point in doing this mocking behavior, right? So that's why what I'm doing here, okay, I'm just removing this particular line. Okay, this mocking is not required. Why? Because the I mean, it will fail even in the during the validation step itself, right? So here, okay, this is required. Okay, employee is required. Content type is required. Obviously, we are passing the payload. Okay, that payload, how we are passing this one. So this is also required. Header also required. Okay, so now it will return is bad request, right? Yeah, is bad request. Okay, so yeah, we are good. Okay, yeah. Okay, so so this particular one. Okay, so yeah, let me run this. It will take hardly 20 seconds. Okay, let me run. Yeah, meanwhile I will write one more test case. Okay, so here if you see, for the same create employee, okay, for the same create employee, there is one more scenario. No, yeah, sorry, we have only two scenarios. That is, in the positive case, it will return 201, and in the negative case, it will return 400 bad requests. That's it. These are the only two possibilities. Okay, so now what I will do, I will write update. For update, I will do, okay, update. Okay, an update. No, update. Update employee record. See, test case is passed. Okay, so test case is passed. So now I'm writing the update scenario. So in the update scenario, so first I'm doing the positive case. That is, if it is updated successfully, employee record is updated successfully, it will return 200, right? So 200, I'm passing valid data, that is 34. Okay, so now this time obviously mocking behavior is required. So obviously, I'm just passing this particular one. Okay, So, but this time this is not a create employee, this is update employee. Okay, update employee. So here, along with this POSO, we are also passing some employee ID also, right? So, I mean, obviously, first we will fetch that particular employee record from the database, and then we will do some update, right? So that's why here we need to pass that employee ID also. Okay, so yeah, so then return of employee DTO. So obviously it will return an updated employee object, right? So now here if you see, this is not post, this is put. Okay, we are put. Okay, and after that, so let me import this one. Um, yeah, so here we need to choose this one. Okay, um, matches. So this one. Okay, so here content publication JSON. Okay, so here ID ID. Okay, and we need to pass 2L. Okay, so the update employee scenario here, if you see, just have a glance. Okay, so where is update? So somewhere here update is there. uh, yeah, yeah, so yeah, see, this is update. So here if you see, we are passing this particular ID. Okay, this particular ID comma this particular employee DTO, right? And see, this is the ID we are passing, right? Okay, so now what we need to do, so just go here. Okay, um, yeah, so we are passing ID. Okay, and employee DTO. Okay, what is this? Content type application slash JSON. Okay, so this is media type string. Okay, um, okay, no, we are doing something wrong here. uh, Put 2l dot content type. Okay, content type application slash JSON, correct only, right? Okay, and expect. Yeah, so let me see. I think I have imported this wrong put, I guess. 1 second. See, yeah, it should be Mockito request builder. So that's why it's not working here. Okay, so what I will do, I'm just importing from the right package. Okay, okay, from the right package. So now let's see. Yeah, see, there is no error. So I have imported wrong one. Okay, so far it is looking good. Okay, I'm just invoking the right employee API. Okay, so this is the ID. I'm passing 2L. Okay, so content type publication JSON. Okay, payload is converting to JSON. This particular one. Okay, JSON. Okay, so header. Am I passing header? Okay, I'm not sure. Let me see. Header. Yeah, header. I'm not passing any header, right? See here, body is there, just ID is there. There is no header, right? So no need to pass header. So here, if you see, so here header is not required. I'm just removing this header. Okay, so header is not required, and yeah, so far we are good. So is okay, is okay. So yeah, put is there. I think we are good. So we did a mocking also correctly only. Okay, so update, yeah, update employee correct only. So let me run the test case. Okay, so meanwhile I will write other test case scenarios. Okay, so in the case of update, we have total three possible cases. One is a success case, that is 200, invalid data 400, and the employee record not found, that is 404. Okay, so here see, that is I will handle 400 bad request. So in the bad request, obviously I need to pass 42. Okay, invalid is. So here, as I said, mocking behavior is not required. Okay, so here this is bad request. Okay, sorry, is bad request. Yeah, this one. So yeah, we are good. Okay, and let me write one more test case. That is this one. So this time I am returning 404, 404. Okay, 404. So this time I'm passing a employee, valid data only, but I'm going to change slightly this mocking behavior. See, test case is passed. So what I'm going to return is okay. Uh, so resource not found exception. Resource not found exception. So here, if you see somewhere here, yeah. So exception. So I'm passing this one. Okay, 2L. Okay. So here, what it is saying. Okay. So something, some issue is there. One second. Sorry, not then throw. We need to say then throw. Sorry, then throw. Okay. Sorry. So you know. So let me show you the actual. No actual code. So whenever we are updating, obviously we invoke this update employee, right? So if you go here, okay, obviously before updating we will try to fetch that particular record from the database. In case if that record is not available in the database, I'm just throwing this new resource not found exception. Okay, so then it will go to that global exception handler. So there I'm just handling that resource not found exception. Here if you see, this is global exception handler. The flow will reach here and I'm throwing the customized error message, right? And by that way I will throw 404 error. So then that's why in order to mimic this particular scenario, I'm just throwing the new resource not found exception. I hope you got my point, right? Resource not found exception. So now this time this is not okay. So this is not found. Okay, yeah, is not found. So so remaining things are fine. So content type publications of JSON. Okay, this and all is fine. Okay, so let me run this particular test case also. Okay, so meanwhile, I will write one more test case. Okay, that is get call. Okay, so get call. What I will do? Okay, so get call. I will say fetch employee. In the get call, we have two cases. That is a positive case, that is 200. Okay, 200 positive case. Okay, so in the positive case, see, obviously we don't want this employee DTO, right? So get call is very simple. Even uh, so get call here, this is get call. So this is get call. Obviously v1 slash employee slash id. So this is 2L path parameter, right? Even content type is also not required. Why? Because this is just a get call, right? So get call, this is also not required. Okay, even we are not passing any payload also. So even this is also not required. Okay. So but what is required? See, test case is passed. So for that we need to see the actual controller. Okay. So here uh, if you see this get call, yeah, so this is the get call. So where is the get call? Yeah. So here if you see fetch employee of ID, right, it will return the employee DTO. So that for that what I need to do, okay, we need to mimic, we need to mock this particular behavior. So what we need to mock is, okay, so fetch employee, okay, fetch employee. Okay, I'm just removing this one. Okay, yeah, 2L. Okay, then return. Okay, here okay, I think I need to pass this one unnecessarily. I just remove this one. Okay, I need to copy. So here, so this one, so this time I am passing employee DTO. Okay, employee DTO. Yeah, so yeah, so far we are good. So here, you know um, think some we're having some extra bracket, I guess. Yeah, uh, get call. Okay, um, yeah, get call we need to import. So yeah, so we will do the same thing here. Okay, so this is get call. So here, I'm just passing this get. Okay, get. Okay, so here, um, here if you see, yeah, now there is no error, right? Yeah, we are looking good. Okay, so now let me run. Okay, so sorry. So this is not found. This is okay. Is okay, right? So this is a positive case. So this is a positive case, right? So let me run this particular test case. So meanwhile, I'll write negative test case also. Negative test case also. So negative test case is it will return 404, right? So 404, 404. So this time what I will do, okay, here I will return then throws. Okay, then throw. Okay, new resource not found exception. Okay, I'm passing to L. Okay, so this time is bad request. Sorry, E is not found. E is not found, right? Yeah. So this is one more case of get. Okay. So 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 let it run. After that, we need to run this particular test case also. Now currently we are running the positive case of get call. Okay. So meanwhile, I will write delete call also. Okay. So I'm just copying this delete call. Okay. So in the delete call, obviously, I will say this is delete. Okay. So in the delete also we have multiple cases here. Test case is passed. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm you know okay. See, see, we need to run this particular test case also. Yeah. So meanwhile, I will write this particular one. So in the successful deletion case, it will return, what it will return 204, right? No content, right? So now, uh, see, obviously this employee dto is not required. Okay, so it's very simple. So here this is not a get, this is delete. Okay, so this is delete. So I mean the same api here. So for the delete, what I will do, I will write this the same thing here. Okay, so here so here we need to change it to delete. Okay, delete, right? So and here if you come here, okay, now there is no error. Okay, I'm passing 2. Okay, and so we need to mock the behavior, right? So what we need to mock is, okay, um, so we need to say like do nothing. Okay, so mock it dot do nothing. So here, um, so do nothing of what we need to say is something like this. Okay, so do nothing of employee service. Okay, employee service dot fetch employee dot fetch employee. Okay, so here just remove this one dot fetch employee of here, then return. Okay, sorry, there is no return, right? There is no return. Yeah, so something is wrong. Do nothing of employee service. Okay, uh, do nothing of employee service. Fetch employee, right? Uh, yeah, so here test case is passed. Okay, so here let me see the method. Okay, here do nothing of what is there, not this one. So what we need to say, mm, do nothing. I think of an employee. Okay, so let me see. I have some backup. Okay, so here if you see, yeah, sorry. So we need to invoke something like this. Okay, so I'm doing this mistakes here. We are not supposed to pass this one. Okay, so here what we need to do, okay, I'm just changing this one. Okay, do nothing. Okay, dot when of employee service dot delete employee of 2l. Okay, so then is no content. Yeah, so this one we need to pass. So if it really invokes this particular delete API, obviously if everything went well, then it will return the no content. Okay, let me run this particular test case. Okay, so yeah, we are good. Okay, so now yeah, one more negative test case. So delete record will return a negative test case also, right? So that is a 404 not found. 404 not found. Okay, so here it will throw this do throw. Okay, do throw. So what it will throw? New resource not found exception, right? So yeah, so when we are mocking the behavior, saying that okay, when employee service dot delete employee, which with the parameter as 2l. Okay, so then internally throw this resource not found exception. Obviously here we need to pass 2l. Okay, So this time this is not found. Okay, is not found. Okay, so now we are running the previous test case. Now we are supposed to run the final test case of negative delete scenario. Okay, so yeah, let it run. Yeah, test case is paused. Okay, so now I'm running the final test case. Okay, so meanwhile what I do, okay, I will create one more one more test case for repository layer. Okay, so here what I'll do, okay, employee repository test. Okay, employee repository test. Okay, here we need to annotate with at the rate data jpa test. Okay, so data jpa test, yeah, we are good. you know so internally, as soon as you add at the rate data jpa test, internally it will it will it will have some in-memory database as per the dependency whatever you added. So here if you see, earlier I have added the h2 dependency. So here somewhere I have added h2. So here if you see h2, yeah, see, this is h2 dependency I have added, already added. So this is there in the class path. So right, so now whatever db operations you do, it will talk to in-memory database, h2 database, not with your actual database, that is mysql database, right? So yeah, we are good. Okay, so internally, it will have some default username and password, so somehow it will talk to in-memory database with your operations, right? So yeah, test case is passed here. If you see, now we are good to write the second test case. So I just annotated with the data jpa test. Now what we need to do, private. Okay, so private test entity manager. Okay, so entity manager. Okay, so now data jpa test is providing one test entity manager, so that we need to pull with the help of auto while. Okay, so why do we need this entity manager? In the sense, whenever you want to save some data into the database, that we need to do with the help of entity manager, test entity manager, right? So obviously we need to have employee repository. So that employee repository is this one, employee repository, employee repository. Okay, so this one also no need to mock, just have at the rate auto void. Okay, why? Because we are going to perform the actual operations with the in-memory database, not with actual database, right? So yeah, so these two are enough. Okay, so now let's write one test case. Okay, so for example, I will annotate with at the rate test. Okay, now you know um, public okay, so void. Okay, so fetch fetch employee records. Okay, so saying that underscore no records. For example, you are trying to fetch all the records, but in fact records are not available in the database. For example, this is the case. So here uh, yeah, so here I'm trying to fetch the records with the help of this repository. Okay, employee repository dot find all. Okay, so dot find all. Okay, so what it will return, list of employees, right? List of employees. Okay, so here um, employee um, employee list. Okay, employees list, so that is nothing but list of employee. Yeah, employee. So now we need to check. Okay, when we do this find all, what it does internally, obviously it will try to fetch the data from the in-memory database. Obviously the data is not available in the database, so it will return empty list, right? So that we need to check, saying that asset, okay, of, okay, so here employee list dot is empty. Okay, some annotation is there. Okay, I've forgotten, I have some backup, so sometime before I have already worked out. So here yeah, we need to say something like this. Okay, so here yeah, so we need to say a set of employee list. Okay, so this one, employee list dot is empty, right? So now now let me run this particular test case. So, and one more point, what I want to highlight here is, so whenever it is interacting with that in-memory database, okay, it will, execute one kind of transaction. So, as soon as this test case is executed, immediately at the end of the test case, it will be rolled back. So that means, so, so for example, if it has created few records in the database, at the end of the test case, again, it will be reverted back so that you can have a fresh environment for your next test case. Okay. So by that way, all your test cases will run in the independent way. Okay, they're all isolated, right? So here test case is failed. Why the test case is failed in the sense? Okay, so here, um, okay, so here. Okay, let me scroll down. Okay, so here if you see, um, so here if you see starting embedded database, okay, starting embedded database, since I have added a H2 database, okay, JDBC H2 mem something, okay, so then it is trying to start the embedded database, that is fine. But here if you see, using dialect, what dialect it is trying to use? MySQL dialect. See, when it is trying to interact with the H2 database, it is supposed to use H2 dialect, right? But not with MySQL dialect, right? So for that, what we need to do, okay, so uh, I'm just creating one directory, okay, that is resources, okay. So here resources, I'm going to add one application.properties, okay. So that is application hyphen test dot properties, okay. Application hyphen test dot properties. Here we need to give that dialect command. So so here if you see, this is H2 dialect, this is H2 dialect. So this is just a create hyphen drop, I mean, so every time just create a database and at the end of that one just drop that schema. So that's the meaning. So this is just I'm printing that SQL statement, that's it. So now if you try to run this particular test case once again, okay, so now this time, oh sorry, this time also it will fail. Okay, why? Because we need to point to this particular path, right? So that how we need to point in the sense, okay. So here, go here, okay. So we need to say at the rate active profiles, okay. So that profile is test, right? Test. We need to pass something like this, okay. So now see, now this will fail. Obviously, it will fail. So, so obviously it will fail. Okay. So active profiles test. Okay. I guess we need to pass in this one. I guess, right? Yeah. So see, test case is failed, as I said. Why? Because we are not pointing. Now I am pointing properly, right? So now let me run the same test case once again. So now what happens, as soon as I add this active profiles test, then immediately it will start searching. Do we have any test related properties? That is application hyphen test dot properties is available in the under the SRC test resources. Then immediately it will go here and it will try to connect with this H2 dialect, right? So then it will try to initialize your employee related schema, okay, into your H2 database. So by that way it will create a new employee table and it will try to fetch the employee records from that empty table, okay. So this time obviously it should pass, okay. So if I'm not wrong, okay, yeah, see, test case is passed. Why? Because successfully, here if you see, this time see create table employee is there, right? So this time here if you see somewhere, see dialect is there. So this time dialect, so definitely it will connect to H2 dialect. So obviously test case will be passed, right? So now here if you see, if we create one more test case, okay. Um so one more test case. So this time what I am doing, okay. Um, fetch employee records, okay. Okay, fetch employee records, all records, okay. Okay, all records. So all records in the sense of obviously we need to save some records, right? So what we need to do, employee, Okay, employee is equal to employee. Okay, now I will create some dummy employee. Okay, so here I will give some name Ashok. Okay, uh, Ashok. Okay, age some 24, comma 45,000. Okay, so city as Hyderabad. Okay, so yeah. So now what I will do with the help of entity manager, I will try to persist this particular one. Okay, employee. Okay, so yeah, employee, right? So similarly, okay, let me do employee one. Okay, so this is also employee one. Okay, so now I will do the same thing for one more employee. So this is employee two. Okay, and this is also employee two. Okay, employee two, and this is I'm just changing to something, some other name. Okay, so here also Hyderabad is there. Okay, I'm just changing to 44. Okay, so I just created two employee records into the database. Okay, into the database. So now if I try to fetch find all, so obviously here we need to say assert that. Okay, assert that. Okay, so here we need to pass employee list. Okay, and I guess we need to add this particular one. So yeah, so here dot has size. Okay, oh, I think I have imported a wrong one. Okay, so has okay, asset that where is that? Yeah, so this one is a wrong one. Okay, so let me try to import a right one. Okay, so here I guess this one. Okay, so we have some method has size. So yeah, see, we have has size. Yeah, so here what is the size? 2, right? Okay, and dot contains. Okay, dot contains. Okay, I'm just passing employee 1 comma employee 2 2. Okay, so what does it mean? So I just saved two records. Now I am invoking find all. Okay, so if it inserts the records successfully into the database, obviously it will return the same records, right? Obviously my returned employee list size will be 2, and it will have this employee 1 and employee 2. Let me try to run the test case. Okay, let me try to run the test case. Okay. uh, yeah, so here it's running. Yeah, hopefully it should pass. So let's see. Yeah, see, test case is passed. Okay, so just to save some time, okay, I am just copying the other methods whatever I have written. Okay, so this is the same operation for fetching employees by city. Okay, fetching employees by city. Okay, so now yeah, so these methods are self-explanatory. So, however, you know, I will explain this. So, by city. So, what I'm doing here, I'm just creating three employees. Okay. So, first two employees are belongs to Hyderabad, and third employee belongs to Delhi. Okay. So now I'm doing find by city. Okay, with the help of this Hyderabad. Okay. So obviously, how many employees I will get? Two employees, right? So two employees are belongs to Hyderabad. So now has size of two. This employee one and employee two, right? So now if I try to run this particular test case, it will obviously pass, right? So meanwhile, I will explain the another test case. Let it run. Okay. So here, what I'm doing, okay, I'm just trying to save this employee record. Okay, with the help of this repository.save, obviously it will return the saved record employee, and I am also cross-checking whether it is saved successfully or not. So see, I'm just cross-checking. See, this employee has so and so name, so and so age, so and so salary, so and so city. So by that way, I'm just cross checking. Okay, so with the help of these values. Okay, so this is one test case, and the second one is the final one. Fetch employee by ID. So here, if you see, I have one employee object. Okay, I just saved this particular employee object. See, okay, then see the test case is passed. Okay, So meanwhile, let me run the previous test case also. Let it run. So meanwhile, I will explain this one. So here, if you see employee repository dot find by ID, obviously we need to pass the ID, right? Primary key. See now, whenever we are saving the database into the database, so we are not, we are not passing the ID. Why? Because that ID will be auto generated at the database end, right? So now, if it really saves this particular record into the database, it will return this employee record with ID. So some ID, right? So now that some ID I'm just passing here dot get ID dot get. Okay, now it will return the record which is saved into the database. Now we are just cross checking that record. Okay, that record and this record are the same or not. So that we are cross checking. Okay, let me run the final test case. This is also test case is passed. Okay, so here let me run the final test case. Yeah. So let it run. Yeah, see, test case is passed, right? So successfully we have written even unit test for data JPA test also. Okay, let me just give you a startup for a unit test case for service class also. Okay, so I'm just saying employee service test. Okay, service test. Okay, so here, in order to write a unit test case for the service layer, we don't have any predefined annotation from the Spring Boot. Okay, see, for controller we do have at the rate WebMVC test. For the repository layer, they have given at the rate data JPA test. Okay, but they haven't given any kind of any specific annotation to write a unit test case for the service layer, right? So then, how to write in the sense? Obviously, we need to take the one and only the ultimate annotation, that is Spring Boot test. Okay, yeah, so Spring Boot test. Okay, so of course the Spring Boot test will load the whole application context. I mean, it will load all the auto configurations and it will scan all the packages. Okay, so just in order to minimize the scanning of all the packages, so we need to pass something like this. Okay, we need to say, okay, so something like this classes. Okay, classes. Okay, um, so here you need to say, okay, uh, employee service. Okay, employee service dot class. Okay, so we are just informing the framework saying that, okay, please don't scan all the all the classes from all the packages, so just scan only this particular class along with regular auto configurations. Okay, so just we need to, so by that way at least we can minimize the loading of the entire application content to some extent. Okay, so after that, we need to, mock the next layer, that is employee repository, right? Employee repository, anyhow, we need to mock this. Okay, employee repository. So we need to say something like this at the rate mock bean, at the rate mock bean. Okay, and model mapper also we are using, right? Model mapper. So if you say this model mapper, model mapper. Okay, so you need to say something like this, and you need to pull this particular one with the help of auto white. This anyhow we are not going to uh, mock. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we are good. Okay, okay, uh, yeah, um, yeah, and obviously we need the employee service also, right? Private employee service, employee service. Okay, employee service. Okay, so this also at the rate auto wide we need to pull. Okay, yeah. So now we need to write the test cases, different test cases. So obviously you need to invoke, methods of employee service. So internally, definitely you will interact with DB operations, with the help of repositories. There obviously you need to do some mocking behavior. For example, if when employee repository dot find by ID of so and so thing, then return of mocked employee object or something like that. So I'm not going to write all these test cases. Maybe you can try from your end. Okay, so yeah, with this I am just closing this particular video. If you really like my video, so just please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.